computer. All right. What I did to think through this is I'm like, okay, I want the few solid base points. And my first thought was to do two, because I put those two, and I could say, lift the point up from here to a certain height, lift the point up from here to a certain height, put an increment of points based on those things. I got that a lot, no matter where I put these two, it would work out, right? But I was like, ooh, but I want this to change. So I want that to be a point. But now this is crazy, is that if I do this one, and this one, but then I put them in plan and they don't line up, then this thing would be squirrely, right? It wouldn't be in plan. So 2 points keeps it in a plan. The third point would change it actually. Like if I put this one and this one, but I snap this one to something over here, all of a sudden it would be twisted. So, ooh, I could just do this being normal, that being adapted, and that being adapted. So now I'm going to take 1 point here. I'm going to project a point out. I'm going to project a point up. I'm going to project another point. Like that. I can put nodes. So I can snap to. I can put, and then I can have another point up here that I just snap out there. And no matter where I snap that one compared to this one, this whole thing will align that direction. The node is on a line. It's all about who's the parent, who's in control.
The line.
So you put a point on a line and it becomes a node.
Okay. Thank you.
I want this. I want that. The thing is, I want this to swing in the direction that this is at. But I want this to be able to, I want to be able to make a spline that this connects to. So I want that directly. It could be that I snap that, and that's what it's going to be. That's the last one. All right. So we'll open in a conceptual mask. But I'm going to say file, new, family. Okay. So if yours doesn't open up here, does yours, when I say file open family, it goes to this. Does yours go to this? Because you fixed it? Or because you did it? Does everybody's open to this when you just say file family? Folder. Right, exactly. So, but all you need to do is I just went in, you can find this file path. You can identify the file path. And then you can just go in and delete everything else and put all of that information there, and then it opens up in that spot. So they just front loaded it with all the things, but you don't need to. You can just make it the one that you want. So I just went in and I opened it through Explorer and edited it till it was there. Because it used to be that way and it drove me nuts when it's not. Because when it does, then I can just hit G. Oh, let me do it again. I like doing file, new, family, hit G, it automatically goes to generic model adaptive. Boom. Okay. I'm in that world. I'm going to place, I'm actually going to select this just so I know I'm hitting on that. And I'm going to put point, I'm going to put one down here and theoretically one up to the left. Sweep, grab both, make adaptive. I got my lower one and my upper one. I'm going to put a point SW on that one, right on the spot. And that's actually all I'm going to do right now. I'm going to then sweep grab this. So I just get that point and I'm going to raise it. Come here. Grab that one. And I want you to go up, let's just say 50 feet. That point's up 50 feet. That makes sense. That point is connected to this. That was the goal, right? I move it to make sure it's connected. That was the select work plane. Instead of just putting a random, if I would have just put a point, if I would have just grabbed, let's say I've got that one. If I would have just put a point out here, it's just on that plane. It wasn't hosted by this. Does that make sense? That's one of those big things. I actually put that point, SW, I picked that work plane, I set it right there, and I lifted it up. Now it's always going to keep that relationship. Fundamental idea, got to get that down. So that's my high point in the back. But now I want to make a point It's directly down from here, but that intersection, so those two things come together, they meet. This is interesting. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, SW here, Vower, and I'm going to drop this one down, and I'm going to say, I can actually drop it down a long ways. There's different ways to think about this. I'm going to say minus 100 feet. And I'm going to say reference line. Ooh, 3D snap. I always say it all the time. Make sure 3D snaps hit the first time you open the program. It's not. Drives me nuts that it's not. Now watch what happens. So I just put a big old reference line down there. Now I'm going to put a point on that line and make a node. Notice that when I do that versus that, there's a size difference. I can tell that this one's hosted correctly and this one's not. Okay. So now on this one, I can tell it to be a certain distance off. That's a lot of this stuff normalized, whether I want it to be a percentage of that. But I can also say host point by intersection, and I can pick the flat level of that one. Oh, so you understand? When I move this around now, I hate when I grab that. It's moving that point on the left, right? Correct? So that's about intersection of that plane, and this one's always hosted by there. So I can snap this point and this point in, and I get this point perfect, and I have that point perfect by those 2 points, right? And no matter where they go, it'll intersect those. So now I can say, hey, I need a point that's on a reference line from here to there. So when I move this, that should move with it. That's just, letting me see that. And we're going to do a point on this. Now, this point, I want a certain distance. Oh, let's say 1/3. Notice when it says beginning or end. So the line, when you draw, you notice I said this, I always draw, if I'm drawing a normal line, I always draw myself from left to right or top to bottom, because the lines have a direction. It has a beginning and an end. You can tell it to reverse itself, but just know that sometimes something will screw up and you're like, why is that? It's because the line is thinking it's one way and not the other way. That comes up quite a bit. So I want this to always be about, let's say 30%. So I've got that point. I want this to be point, let's just say 30%. Now I know that's directly on that 30%. What's crazy is I can host another point on that one. SW, tab, got the level, got that point. It always gets mad at me, but it's fine. And now I'm going to lift that one up. This one was up 50 feet. I'm going to lift this one up 60 feet. That makes sense? Now, we could set those as variables. We could set them, but in essence, I just got that point and that point, right? And I know that this will always line up because wherever I move these 2 points, they're always going to stay in relationship to each other. Oh, that's what was tough, because I was trying to figure out a way to get it to where they're always be in a plane, right? That's what all that work was. There were simple ways of doing it, but it wouldn't have been in the plane. If I would have put the 2 points down and the other one over here, it would have bent, right? It wouldn't have stayed in a plane. That'll make more sense a little more. Okay, so if I want to divide this up, well, I could say reference line, point to point, point to point. Oop, what did I do? Didn't draw you. Okay. If we want to get fancy, we could, so sometimes because the 2 reference lines are next to each other, it wants to think they're the same, but I'll want to reach in and grab that one. And I'm going to say divide path. And I'm going to say every fixed distance, 10 feet from beginning. Where is it? Did it go? Oh yeah, because it'd be equal. That's fine. Do the same thing with this one. Okay. Now, let's just put in some load family. So this is my trick. All the load family takes you to a certain file folder, okay? I keep everything I work on in the cloud. I use Box, it doesn't matter what you use Google Drive or OneDrive or whatever it is. What I did is I just made a shortcut to my Box file and I dropped that shortcut there. So when I load family, my file folder is right there that goes to the cloud. What the shit? Seriously, that is like that's crazy. I have no idea what that is. That's it's 340. All right, that's crazy. Okay. So load family. Now I can double click that. Now I have all my worlds. I know it's impossible for you to think about right now, but you got to get in the habit of naming your stuff so you know it's yours and not something else. Even if it's a dumb name, I have Palagi Made Design, so I do PMD on anything that I'm actually really making, unless it's super junk. But you'll see, like my basic components, I have my real components. It's PMD. Is it a 2-point adaptive? Is it a 4-point adaptive? Is it a generic model? Pattern based? Like I just tried to get in the habit of doing something because I want to reuse them. I don't want to do the same stuff over and over again, right? So I try to get some nomenclature. I'm going to just stick in the basic pipe, not pipe cap. Where's my pipe? Dumb pipe, right? Yes. Fine, whatever. That first time, remember they get stuck in over here. I had made mine a structural, which is kind of useful sometimes to actually put those in. So I'm going to put the same. Before I do that one, I'm going to do these because once you, I mean, you can get into whatever habit you want. I know I want to look in at underneath these, so I got that point. Now, what's interesting is I can just go hit that one because I did divide. It's automatically going to put them in there because I divided those, right? So it just sticks them in. I'm going to tab in and get rid of that one because it's not there, I don't think. I'm going to take my pipe and put it here. And do the pipe and put it there. And I'm going to take the pipe and put it from here to out there. Now I'm going to double click on this and say duplicate and then say cable. Oh, shit. And diameter 2 inches. Okay. Now I want to find a note. Like I know my cable is going to go from here to here, but I want to have a node here. So I'm going to take this HH. Oh, I don't have a reference line there. I need to put a reference line in so I can mark a spot that I want. Yeah, I'm not connecting to the highlighted geometry. I'm connecting to the points. Okay, I want to post a point on this. And I want it to be 1/3 from that end over here. So I'm going to put in 0.3. And I'm going to switch from end. Oh, that just switches logic. So I'll say from beginning, but then 0.7. Okay. Now I can bring in my cable. And hide reset. That gets back in. Okay, basic. We don't need that one down there. Tab. Delete. All right. So now I got 2 points. First point, second point, right? Conceptual mass. Okay, dumb. Let's take and draw one line here. So working in, I'm going to drag this one up to a height. Oh, I didn't mean to Alt or Control. God damn it. Isn't it Control? Yeah, there we go. I didn't hold Control the first time. Sorry. So what's interesting, of course, is that if you've drawn something there, I can say Control Copy, Control C, just basic Control C, and then say paste align to selected levels, level 2. You understand, like when you're doing buildings, right? You could say, hey, I want to repeat this on those 30 floors. Like that's how it's made to work that way. Anyways. Okay. It becomes really helpful when you're working out some things and you want stuff to line up the way you want. So nothing more than this. Let's divide the path. I drew them both the same way. Let's make this a parameter. Add a parameter, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now we can change that parameter, right? Now let's load, actually, let's just go and hit this and say load into family 2 and lower one. Oh, let's see. I gotta be able to see. My resolution's kind of weird on this. I can't see. I got 3 screens. I got this screen. I got this screen. There. I almost need to change my. It's almost. I think the resolution. So I like going one in. Okay, so when you're locking on there, this is what's interesting. There's the repeated nodes, right? The divided line, which is hosted on the line. The line is really on point. So that point, there's both the endpoint and the divided line there. That makes sense. They both exist there. So I tend, when I want to lock something in that's going to repeat on a divided line, I make sure I go one in because it's going to repeat anyways. I don't want to accidentally grab the end. It happens a lot within the pattern, but that makes sense. This is a generic model, family 3, drag it back in. Where are you? I'm not seeing it on this, the colors. There we go. There you are. And where are you? Come on. All right, now we're like, oh, that looks terrible. It didn't work the way I wanted it. Let's see. It didn't work. So now, what did it go wrong? This is why I want you guys to do stuff first. I'm not telling it what's vertical. If I grab this and say, did anybody, now watch what happened. By grabbing that and grabbing this and telling it, I want Z always to be up. So in essence, actually, I'm going to do global Z, then host XY. So it means that Z is always vertical, global axes. That makes sense? Right. So this is where it gets really funky. And so the idea that you can control the way that these points react to the surface. So there are times where you might want a beam to always be vertical, always be upright like this. But then there are other times where you want it to be actually on the edge. And so it being global Z versus what it's looking at Z to the surface or Z to whatever the object is. And so there are times you want both, one or the other, but you just realize that happens a lot. So this should fix itself the second I reload it. Overwrite existing, pop. Boop. Okay, so that's boring. Yeah, I could grab that and I can repeat it. Boring. That's not why I did this. So, just delete. Actually, what's funny, so I just undid, and so I actually got to reload that thing in because it won't be it'll still be the old load instead of that one in. So now I'm going to say reference line. I'm going to go spline through points. So now I'm going to say again, divide. And now remember, I already set up the parameter. I want it to be on the same parameter. This will become important in a second. So now it's got a parameter, it's got that. I actually have to reload that one in again because I undid the load, I'm pretty sure. So it would have been all clunky again. There's so many times I've done that. I like undid and then didn't realize that I fixed the thing, but then hadn't refixed. But that's so frustrating. Just undid past something that was important. All right, so one in is there, one in is there. Let's see what happens. And where are you? Where are you? Come on. Is it right there? I can't. There it is. Okay. It flipped. It's seeing one of them upside down. It went up and down from this point. I did -30. I wonder if I could reverse. There are ways I could have, the logic that I used. So I went out and then I went up positive. I could take that value and change it. But I wonder what happens if I reverse the direction on this line. Because you can reverse. No, let's just see. I want to see something really quick. I just want when you repeat it, I want to see if it changes this. Yeah, so it's folding on itself. So when you repeat and it folds on itself, this is because the one is going one direction and one is going the other direction. So one was drawn one way and one was drawn the other way. So I'm going to grab that, which might have actually twisted the whole thing. You know, I should be able to. Oh, it's been flip direction. There we are. Okay. That should fix that. We'll see. If not, I might need to. I'm going to see something. Let me see something real quick. Direction based. All right. So if I wanted to have a little more control, I would go back into the original and make sure that that point of what's positive and negative, I could change that. It was just twisting on itself based on the direction. And now let's go in and 26. Come on, chicken. This is where I found that, you know, and the ability to still edit. So why we're doing it is once you kind of figure out the logic, how you get the logic set up correctly. Now we go back in and start putting in actual W flange in, actual different elements in. We'll look at surface and a panel. We can snap the other nodes in to make them, you know, the other properties. But what we're going to do is like every week we're just doing one of these. I have a problem solved every time. The more you do in this, figuring out what's the control, the less problems you have. Like I was letting the fact that this one was positive going up from here, but when this reverse direction, then this was negative. So it might have been smarter to just let some of the things be a little more free, but I like the idea that it reads perfectly. Because when you look in plan, it's going to be, you know, it'll stay pretty active, right? I like the idea that it goes around. So it's 4 o'clock. Granted, we got another 20 minutes. We can try to work through this a different way, but this is what's going to be lived. I was screwing off, so I'm trying to problem solve something random that I haven't done.